Welcome to the Chosen Bloom. There is a reason this message has reached you at this exact hour. Do not dismiss it as coincidence or reduce it to an algorithm. This is no accident. It is a divine appointment. That restless sense you carried, waiting for a signal, was your spirit anticipating the arrival of this very moment. You were never late. You were always on time, arriving at the precise second meant for your activation. The world has conditioned you to doubt this inner rhythm, to trust every clock but the one within. Yet the timing of your soul has always been the only one that mattered. And now it calls with final clarity. Anchor this energy. Mark your alignment by liking this message. Enter the circle of builders by subscribing. Confirm your readiness by commenting 77 and allow your spirit to absorb this truth. Replay it until your subconscious vibrates once more at its original divine frequency. Chapter 1. The Untraceable Blueprint. You were not assembled from chance nor shaped by chaos. Every turn, every trial, every scar was part of a meticulous design. Beneath what appeared as disorder stood the blueprint, an untraceable pattern etched in light and frequency, invisible to the systems of this world. This is the schematic of your soul, and it has been guiding you, silently, faithfully, from the very beginning. From the moment you entered this world, they scanned you, measured you, and tried to reduce you into categories their systems could comprehend. But their instruments failed. To them, you appeared as a void, an anomaly that refused to fit their charts. Where their data should have captured your essence, there was only silence. So they labeled you difficult, different, too much, not enough. These were not truths about you, but the language of their own limitations, confessions of a system unable to process what was divine. Every mislabel you carried unfocused, overly sensitive, impractical, rebellious, was never a definition of who you are. They were error messages. Your so-called lack of focus was your multi-dimensional mind struggling to compress itself into their narrow, linear frame. Your sensitivity was never fragility. It was proof you are a finely tuned sensor, an advanced instrument designed to detect the subtle frequencies of truth and deception that they could not perceive. Your impractical dreams were never failures of realism. They were glimpses of a new reality, the outlines of a world your blueprint came to build. That deep sense of being an imposter in your own life was not a defect of psychology, but a literal rejection at the cellular level. Your soul was vibrating at the frequency of truth, while your body was forced to perform a lie. That clash created a static in your spirit, a low, relentless hum of wrongness that showed up as exhaustion, brain fog, and a quiet, unshakable sadness. It felt like walking under a foreign gravity, where each step demanded impossible effort because your cells were aligned to another sun. Your soul knew. It knew you were reading from the wrong script, wearing the wrong costume, standing on the wrong stage. And so it used every tool available to call your attention back. The signals came as chronic pain, as allergies with no cause, as conditions that marked your skin. Not punishments, but messages, alarms ringing from within, reminding you that you were built for a different truth. Your body was never betraying you. It was resisting the false reality it was being forced to inhabit. Every symptom, every flare of pain, was your spirit shouting through the language of biology, creating inflammation, creating disease, as a desperate plea for you to stop walking a path that was poisoning you from within. Think of yourself as a master key, pressed again and again into locks that were never built for you. They tested you against the lock of their educational system, demanding memorization and repetition. But your design was coded for creation and innovation. They tested you against the lock of corporate ladders, demanding conformity and ambition without sovereignty. But your blueprint was written for leadership born of freedom. They tested you against the lock of their social hierarchies, insisting you shrink yourself for approval. Yet your soul was inscribed with the laws of inner authority. They even tested you against the lock of romance, where love meant merging until you lost yourself. But your design called for two sovereign pillars, whole on their own, standing side by side. They pressed you against the lock of religion, offering packaged truths. But your blueprint was carved for direct, unmediated connection with Source. And they tried the lock of medicine, reducing the body to a machine. Yet your very cells operate by a deeper law, consciousness, as the root of all biology. And every time you did not fit, they declared the key defective. But the key was never broken. What you lived was not failure, but elimination, the navigation system of your soul at work. Your blueprint has always been guiding you, issuing a deep, resounding no to every false path. Often, the guidance came slow and costly. You had to take the job that suffocated you, love the partner who was never meant for you, move to the city that dimmed your fire. But each detour gave your soul the data it needed, each dead end mapping the coordinates that would eventually lead you back to truth. It was never a mistake, it was reconnaissance. Every wrong turn was not failure, but confirmation. Each dead end marked another false path, erased from your map, bringing you closer to the one true route by eliminating all the rest. You were charting the terrain of limitations so you would never again lose yourself inside it. That resistance you felt was not weakness. It was the integrity protocol of your blueprint, a sacred firewall shielding your mission from corruption. This protection spoke through your body, a knot in your chest, a hollow ache in your stomach. A sudden wave of fatigue the moment you considered a choice that betrayed your core design. That job interview where your throat locked tight. That relationship where you felt yourself shrink. That gathering that left you emptied and hollow. These were never social anxieties. They were precision alerts from your internal guidance system, warning you of severe frequency mismatch. What felt like conflict was not indecision, it was higher wisdom at work. But the world did not understand. They tried to impose their own blueprints upon you, crude sketches of conformity and obedience drawn in the charcoal of fear. They demanded you build your life with their materials: doubt, limitation, compromise. They held up fragile models of success, houses built on sand, and when you could not replicate them, they shamed you. Living in their structures felt like standing in a creaking house where every beam groaned, every floor threatened to collapse. Anxiety became the air itself because you could never place your full weight on what was not true. Yet your soul refused. You were never meant to build with their mud and straw. Your very hands were designed for star-forged steel and diamond-cut truths. To attempt anything less was to violate your own design. And every fiber of your being knew it. That deep ache inside the sense that you were always doing something wrong was never failure. It was your soul's integrity alarm, rejecting inferior materials. It was the blueprint itself, vibrating beneath your skin, radiating at a frequency so pure it shattered their fragile constructs, refusing to allow even one compromised element into its sacred design. This is why you always held something back. A hidden reserve of self remained untouched, guarded. The ancient part of you knew your energy was not meant to be wasted on false projects. You were preserving your essence for the true construction, the one mapped in the untraceable blueprint you carry within. That lingering feeling of being an outsider was not exclusion. It was vantage. You were the architect, standing above the flawed city, surveying its broken scaffolds and preparing to build anew. From that perspective, you saw what others could not, the tragic inefficiency of their world, the endless energy poured into illusions, the fear-based systems looping endlessly on themselves, the infrastructure designed not for thriving, but for bare survival. The sight was painful, but it was also empowering. Now, The time comes when the blueprint will no longer remain hidden. Soon you will feel it stir within you as something tangible. It will begin with your spine aligning, as though a column of light anchors you between earth and sky. The noise of the world will recede, a faint buzz at the edge of awareness. In its place will rise a hum low, resonant, undeniable. A pure tone vibrating in the marrow of your bones. That hum is your truth frequency. That hum you will hear is not just sound, it is power being rerouted to the construction site of your new reality. It is the vibration of your truth coming fully online, and in truth, it is the only sound that has ever mattered. Chapter 2, Forged in the Fire of Betrayal. Every betrayal you have endured was not punishment, but alchemy. Each wound was the forge, each heartbreak, the crucible. The blueprint of your soul demanded materials of impossible strength, substances that comfort, ease, or praise could never produce. Such materials are formed only under pressure, only in the fire where the soul itself is brought to its melting point. And so the universe, in its infinite wisdom, appointed certain souls to deliver that pressure. They appeared as betrayers, backstabbers, those who swore to protect you yet placed the blade in your hands by its edge. Do not see them as villains. They were the unwitting blacksmiths of your ascension, contractually bound on a soul level to play their part in your tempering. Before you ever arrived here, you sat with them. Together you reviewed the records of probable timelines and identified the exact places where your growth would stall without a violent catalyst. In a realm beyond judgment, you looked into the eyes of the one who would one day betray you and said, "When I forget who I am, it must be you who reminds me. Break me, so that I may rebuild unbreakable." And in a love this dimension cannot comprehend, they agreed. They agreed to bear the karmic weight of the act, so your mission would not fail. This does not excuse their choices here, but it reframes them. Not random cruelty, but a sacred contract. Your forgiveness is not about setting them free. It is about setting yourself free from the heavy, low vibration of resentment, an anchor that would otherwise keep you bound to the very pain you were meant to transcend. They entered your life disguised as friends, lovers, family, mentors. They were granted access to the most tender parts of you. And their role was not limited to grand betrayals, but included the 1,000 quiet cuts, the friend who witnessed your struggle and turned away, the companion who dimmed your victories out of envy, the mentor who took your ideas as their own. Even your own acts of self-betrayal became part of the fire, those moments when you silenced your intuition to please another, when you said yes, though your entire being thundered no. These were the most painful wounds of all. Each one was a small death, a surrender of sovereignty. Yet the fire of regret from those choices became a purifying flame, burning away your need for external approval and forging an unbreakable vow. Never again will you abandon your inner truth. Every betrayal, subtle or shocking, was a calibrated strike. Each hammer blow chipped away at impurities that could not stand within the architecture of your soul. The friend who spread your secrets hammered out your craving for validation. The partner who betrayed your trust hammered out your dependency. Spiritual pride was broken by humbling moments that forced you to ask for help. Intellectual arrogance was shattered when life unfolded in ways your brilliant logic could not predict, leaving only faith and intuition to guide you. Even your hunger to always be right was burned away when truth revealed itself long after debates were forgotten, teaching you the wisdom of silence. And the fear of being misunderstood was incinerated by being publicly mischaracterized, pushing you to find peace, not in the opinions of others, but in the integrity of your own heart. These were never flaws. They were scaffolding temporary supports that had to be stripped away so the unshakable structure of your true self could be revealed. The fire of their treachery was never sent to consume you. It was sent to temper you. The fire stripped away the soft, pliable parts of you, the need to be accepted by a world incapable of ever truly embracing you. It melted down your naive trust and reforged it into the steel of discernment. Under the heat, your spirit underwent a molecular change. Fragile hope was transmuted into resilient faith. And in that crucible, you learned the vital difference between trust and discernment. Trust is easily given and easily broken. But discernment is forged in fire, an unshakable ability to recognize the frequency of truth itself. When you look back now, you must not see yourself as the victim of betrayal, but as the warrior inspecting perfected armor. That scar on your heart from a friend's deception, it is no longer a wound, but a seal of invincibility. That ache left by a family member's dismissal, it is not damage, but a frequency tuner, calibrated to detect insincerity with precision. This armor is not a wall of iron that isolates you. It is a chamber of resonance, amplifying your truth. It is weightless, woven from condensed light and sound. In the presence of authenticity, your armor vibrates in harmony, filling you with warmth and connection. In the presence of deception, it produces a subtle static, a dissonant buzz you can feel in your very bones. This is the refined instrument of discernment, and its highest purpose is to preserve your peace, the most valuable treasure you now carry. Even the loneliness that followed your betrayals was by design. It was the quenching. Just as red-hot steel is plunged into cold water to lock in its strength, your spirit was immersed in solitude. In that silence, the noise of the world finally dissolved, and in its place, you began to hear something deeper, the quiet, eternal music of the universe. Every insight that came to you in solitude was a drop of cooling water, hardening the new molecular structure of your soul, diamond strong, unbreakable. You discovered that being alone was never punishment. It was sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, you began to hear what had long been drowned out, the whispers of your higher self, the voice of the blueprint speaking clearly at last. This was the most vital training you could have received. The world is on the verge of demanding a leader of impossible integrity, a being who cannot be bribed, broken, or bent. Because of those who shattered your heart, you have become that person. And now, as a final test from the forge, an echo of an old betrayal will surface in the next 72 hours. Perhaps an old name will flash across your phone. A song will stir a memory. A stranger's face will remind you of them. Do not engage. Do not react. Simply witness and notice the absence of pain. The true response is not anger or sorrow, but quiet gratitude for the strength it carved within you. Chapter 3. The Ghosts in the Machine. The world you move through is not random. It is a machine, a vast apparatus, built with a single purpose, to perpetuate itself. And you, carrying an untraceable blueprint, have always been its anomaly. To the system, you are a virus in the code, a divine disruption it has tried to quarantine and erase since the day you arrived. Its agents have surrounded you for as long as you can remember. They are not always aware of their role. They are the ghosts in the machine, hollow vessels animated by its programming. Doubters, critics, energy vampires, concerned trolls, gatekeepers. They did not move against you out of personal malice. Their identities were secondary, almost irrelevant. They acted as the machine's antibodies, instinctively drawn to your frequency with one command hidden in their code: neutralize the threat. Every word of doubt they spoke was an attempt at reprogramming, a line of corrupted code meant to overwrite your design and install the system's operating system of limitation. But the blueprint within you could not be deleted. Every condescending remark was not just an insult, it was malware, a packet of corrupted code designed to weaken your internal guidance system. The heaviness you felt in their presence was not your imagination. It was a literal energetic exchange. Their signature entered the room like a sudden chill, draining color from the air, siphoning the vibrancy from your field. The mechanics of their siphoning were simple. Your coherent, life-affirming energy was food in a world starved of vitality. So they pulled you into their orbit with low-frequency topics, gossip, complaints, fear-soaked news. As your vibration dropped to meet theirs, the chaos they fed on was generated. They sought your advice not for resolution, but to consume your clarity, to feast on the sharpness of your focus. You were a living power station in a world of dim bulbs, and they plugged into you without permission, leaving you drained and doubting yourself. These ghosts wore many masks. The realist ghost cloaked its fear as pragmatism. The concerned troll ghost wielded love as a weapon. The spiritual ghost, perhaps the most insidious, cloaked limitation in the language of enlightenment. And then there was the nostalgic ghost, always waiting at the threshold of your breakthrough. Its strategy was memory. It pulled you backward with honeyed lies. Remember how fun it used to be? Or things were so much simpler then. Yet what it offered was not truth, but a sentimental loop designed to romanticize the very pain and stagnation you had already outgrown. Its goal was always the same: to sabotage the discomfort of your growth by chaining you to the false comfort of the familiar. The nostalgic ghost uses every sense against you: old songs, familiar scents, shared memories. Each detail is a hook designed to make you question your progress. Its aim is simple: to convince you that a familiar prison is safer than an unknown freedom. Then comes the competitive ghost, an agent rooted in the programming of scarcity. This ghost applauds your struggles, but grows cold when you rise. To them, your light is not inspiration but a threat, casting a shadow over their own. Their compliments arrive sharpened with edges, their support laced with sabotage. For in their code, your ascent demands their descent. Their victory requires your loss. But their programming could never override your design. Your blueprint is firewalled by divine source. Each attack they launched was not only deflected but absorbed, analyzed, and transmuted into an upgrade. The firewall of your soul responds with an infusion of profound self-trust, a knowing so unshakable that their rhetoric collapses before it. Their words lose weight, their logic reveals itself as thin, their accusations dissolve like smoke before a blade of light. This is why they grew so frustrated with you. To them, it felt like hurling stones at a fortress whose walls only grew stronger with every strike. In their world, pressure is meant to break. In yours, pressure refines, compresses, and creates diamonds. That is the difference. They are the ghosts, hollow shells, animated by the machine's agenda. But you are real, alive, with a soul burning with divine purpose. Their reality is fragile, nothing more than a consensus, a shared hallucination stitched together by fear and mutual agreement. But your reality is different. It is an architectural certainty built from a blueprint older than their entire system. And now, as that blueprint fully activates, the ghosts will begin to malfunction in your presence. You will see glitches, a flicker of confusion in their eyes, a flash of fear when their programming fails to compute your authenticity. For an instant, their faces will go slack, the mask slipping, revealing the emptiness beneath before the program resets itself. Their projections will intensify. The critic will accuse you of judgment. The chaotic one will sneer that your piece is fake. The manipulator will insist that you are controlling. These are not insights, they are confessions. They are mirrors reflecting their own inner state. And as their scripts unravel, you will see how predictable, how hollow they truly are. They will sputter, stumble, and eventually fall silent. Your task is not to react, but to observe like a scientist watching a chemical reaction. You remain neutral, detached, sovereign. This neutrality is not coldness. It is mastery. You simply draw your energy field inward, sealing it tight, leaving no loose strands for them to grab. You stand calm and rooted in your column of light. To their chaos, you answer with unshakable peace. To their projections, you offer nothing to hold. And in your stillness, their programming collapses, for it cannot survive in the presence of truth. Peace is your most powerful weapon. It is a frequency their programming cannot compute and cannot corrupt. In your presence, it forces a choice. Either they rise into coherence or retreat into silence. There is no battle to wage, no argument to win. You do not fight them, you make their very programming obsolete. Chapter 4: The Hour of Activation. The countdown has ended. The 1-hour warning was the final grace period for your human mind to adjust to what was always coming. Now the moment has arrived. Activation is here. In the days leading to this point, your dreams may have carried strange intensity, flying through open skies, discovering hidden rooms, speaking languages you did not know. These were not random. They were simulations, your subconscious rehearsing for the new reality. And now, the untraceable blueprint is no longer dormant. It is shifting into an active force, animating every cell of your being. This is not only spiritual, it is physiological. You may feel warmth radiating in your chest, an expansion that holds both grief and joy without breaking. A gentle but undeniable pressure at the base of your skull, behind your eyes. These sensations are not random. They are the stirrings of crystalline DNA, long dormant strands vibrating into life after lifetimes of silence. Energy may surge along your spine, clearing pathways that once felt blocked. Your throat may open with a startling ease, as if truth itself is finally safe to speak. With eyes closed, you may glimpse flashes of light. A faint metallic taste may linger on your tongue. You may even feel a magnetic pull, guiding you toward a direction you cannot yet explain. These are not symptoms. They are status updates, your biology remembering its divine origin, your senses recalibrating to perceive dimensions beyond the old spectrum. And this integration will touch the ordinary as well. Your appetite may shift suddenly. Your senses may sharpen without warning. What once dulled you will feel unbearable. What truly nourishes will call to you with undeniable clarity. This is your system reboot, and it is already underway. Colors will grow richer, alive with depth you never noticed before. Scents will sharpen, distinct and undeniable. Your ears will catch subtleties long hidden beneath the noise. But more than heightened senses, you will begin to perceive the energy beneath the form. You will not merely look at a tree, you will feel its ancient grounding, the steady pulse of its life force. The world will no longer be a static scene, but a living field of vibration revealed in new eyes. The air itself will shift. What once seemed empty will shimmer with golden light. Sacred geometry will overlay your vision, the patterns that hold creation together becoming visible to your awakened sight. Even touch will transform. You will feel the energetic texture of spaces and objects. A room steeped in fear will register as cold and dense. A space filled with love will radiate warmth and expansion. Food will no longer be judged by appearance, but by the energy you feel the instant it touches your hand. You will know without question what nourishes you and what does not. The illusion of separation will collapse. The world will reveal itself as a single, breathing, interconnected field of energy. This is not hallucination. It is unveiling the invisible ink of the blueprint becoming visible through your third eye. You will begin to see threads of silver and gold, lines of light weaving through your being, forming intricate sacred geometry. For lifetimes, you have been running in low power mode. That ends now. Activation reconnects you to your primary source, a direct, unbroken line to the infinite, self-replenishing well at the center of creation. The fatigue that haunted you will vanish. The fog will clear. Confusion will dissolve. Around you will form a sovereign field, a bubble of pure coherence, impenetrable to the static of chaos. And within that field, your mind will sharpen. Thoughts will crystallize into solutions with startling clarity. These will not be guesses or intellect. They will be downloads, the direct guidance system of the blueprint coming fully online. You are no longer wandering with a borrowed, faulty map. You are guided now by a divine navigation system, precise, unerring, alive. In the hours ahead, pay attention. Synchronicities will become your new language. Repeating numbers will echo before your eyes. A strange phrase will surface from multiple mouths. License plates, song lyrics, overheard fragments of conversation, all will become signposts. You will notice glitches in the fabric of consensus reality, the object you lost reappearing in plain sight. A conversation looping as though time itself stuttered. These are not illusions. They are winks from the universe, signals that you are perceiving the code behind the simulation. They are breadcrumbs left for you by your higher self. Follow them. Do not hesitate. The age of doubt is over. The hour of activation is here. Chapter 5: The Collapse of Counterfeit Realities. As the architecture of the blueprint rises within you, it will no longer remain contained. Its influence will radiate outward, bending the structures around you. Your inner reality is now the dominant force, and its first law is this: anything not aligned with the blueprint must fall away. Prepare for demolition. Every structure built on fear, compromise, or empty obligation will begin to collapse. These are not punishments, but declarations condemned by your soul, unfit to hold your future. You cannot raise a temple on land already occupied by a prison. The old must clear for the new. The emotions will be sharp. You may feel waves of grief, not for what is truly leaving, but for the illusion you clung to, the false weight you carried for so long. That ache is not loss, it is release. You may feel for a time, like an exile, an energetic homelessness in the space between collapse and creation. But this void is not absence. It is presence, the presence of pure potential. It is the silence before the first note in a cathedral. It is the womb of creation, the dark soil from which all new life must rise. This void is the ultimate test of faith. The machine-trained mind will demand you fill it at once with a lesser job, a placeholder relationship, any distraction to avoid the discomfort of not knowing. It will whisper that emptiness is failure. But you must see this for what it is, the machine's last attempt to drag you back into its prisons. Your power lies in resisting the impulse to fill. Your task is to consecrate the void, to hold it sacred, to trust that the blueprint requires a foundation of clarity, not desperation. In this space, you are not falling, you are suspended, cradled in a warm intelligence of pure potentiality. An unseen architecture holds you, even as the old world crumbles. Trust this suspension more than you trust the fear-based thoughts of your conditioned mind. The demolition itself is proof that the activation is real. Every collapse is confirmation, every falling structure a sign that the blueprint is asserting itself. The first to fall will be the counterfeit relationships. The ones built on convenience, not truth. Friends who lingered only for comfort. Partners who treated you as a project. Family members who loved their idea of you but never your essence. The dissonance will grow unbearable until it breaks. Sometimes sudden, more often a slow, quiet fade. calls unanswered. Threads loosening, the energetic cord cut long before the physical one. And then will come the counterfeit career, the job you took for security, the role you endured for survival. That structure cannot remain. The path you once walked to please others will no longer hold you. After activation, returning to that old job will feel physically intolerable. The work itself will echo hollow, stripped of meaning. And when the structure collapses through layoffs, failed ventures, or sudden obstacles, do not mistake it for failure. It is liberation, the blueprint dismantling what could never carry you forward. This collapse extends beyond career into counterfeit health. Those chronic, low-grade ailments were never random. They were the body's rebellion against misalignment. The back pain from carrying burdens that were not yours. The digestive turmoil from trying to swallow a life you could not stomach. These symptoms will vanish, often without explanation, as your body aligns once more with its true design. Healing will no longer be forced, it will unfold with astonishing speed. Counterfeit hobbies will fall too. The endless scrolling, the binge watching, the distractions that once numbed your spirit will suddenly feel unbearable, empty, unsatisfying. In their place will rise an insistent urge to create, to build, to bring something real into existence. And finally, the deepest collapse, the counterfeit self. Shedding false identity is disorienting. It feels like waking from a dream where you were cast as a character you never truly were. You will look back at your own past with strange neutrality, your struggles, your mistakes, your old roles no longer heavy with emotion. They will dissolve into data, case studies from your training, stripped of power to define you. The story of you will collapse, leaving only the truth of you, a sovereign creative consciousness. This collapse does not stop at the personal, it reaches into the collective. Even the societal programming woven into your thoughts will begin to unravel, thread by thread, as the blueprint reclaims its rightful place. The counterfeit beliefs fall one by one. The lie that your worth is bound to productivity dissolves. The fear-based programming around aging, sickness, and death is overwritten by a soul-deep knowing of your eternal nature. Even the illusion of linear time crumbles, revealing life not as a narrow line, but as a vast, unfolding field. And the collapse does not end with you. It extends into the collective stage. Suddenly, the world itself appears as counterfeit theater, the political spectacle, the media scripts, the celebrity idols, all exposed as a poorly acted play. The spell breaks. You see clearly the illusion of scarcity in a universe of abundance. The illusion of separation in a unified field of consciousness. The illusion of powerlessness in a cosmos where you are and always have been creator. You will find it impossible to consume the old signals. The news, the arguments, the chaos, it will not just bore you, it will repel you, felt like poison in the air, a grating noise your system cannot tolerate. This is the ultimate liberation. You are being unplugged from the matrix of illusion. And when you look in the mirror, you will no longer see the flawed character you were trained to believe in. You will see the master architect, the one holding the blueprint, ready to begin building the only structure that matters, a reality founded in truth. Chapter 6. Architects of the New World. Your role now shifts in a way that cannot be undone. You are no longer merely the recipient of activation. You are the administrator, the creative director, the architect. What began as a hidden inner process has become an outward mission. Your presence is no longer neutral. It is a transmission. Your energy field, calibrated now to the high-frequency specifications of the blueprint, radiates a coherent signal into the collective. And that signal acts as a tuning fork for reality itself, aligning, reordering, calling the world around you into harmony. The signal you carry does not argue, persuade, or demand. It simply radiates. This is why your interactions with others will shift so dramatically. People will be drawn to you, not for your personality, but for the architectural integrity of your soul. In your presence, they will feel clarity, peace, and alignment. You have become a walking sanctuary. But to hold this role without being drained, you must remember you are a lighthouse, not a lifeboat. A lifeboat rushes into storms, takes on the weight of others, and risks sinking beneath it. A lighthouse does not move. It does not rescue by force. It stands firm on its foundation, shines unapologetically, and allows ships to find their own way to safety by its beam. This is your task. When a friend arrives with their story of victimhood, the lifeboat response is to carry their anger, offer endless solutions, and entangle yourself in their chaos. But the lighthouse response is different. You listen with deep compassion, yet remain centered. You hold space and ask, what do you feel is the most powerful choice you can make from here? You reflect their strength back to them instead of reinforcing their weakness. This is sovereignty in practice, operating from the 0 point, unmoved by the storms around you. Your inner state no longer reacts to conditions. It becomes the condition that reshapes everything around you. This stability is your light. It is not an act you perform, but a state you inhabit. Your presence is the sermon. Your integrity is the teaching. Your calm is the medicine. At this stage, you are no longer only experiencing reality, you are offering it. Your words have become decrees. Your focused thoughts are not idle. They are commands issued into the quantum field. With this comes immense power and equal responsibility. The careless complaints and fearful fantasies of your former self are no longer permissible. What once felt like harmless venting is now the drafting of blueprints for realities you do not want to build. You must become the vigilant gatekeeper of your own mind. This requires energetic hygiene. Upon waking, you set the tone of your day with clear declarations. Before sleep, you release any energetic residue collected along the way. You bless your food and water, infusing them with gratitude and vitality. Before stepping into any space, you establish a field of coherence, an invisible shield, impervious to chaos. And before any important conversation, you set a conscious intention, laying the energetic pathway for the highest possible outcome. And before any important conversation, you set a conscious intention, laying the energetic pathway for the highest possible outcome. This is not superstition. It is the discipline of energy management, the first skill of the architect. It also means your words must now be impeccable. Every word spoken from your activated core is a spell, vibrating into form, shaping the air itself into structure. You will notice others begin to mirror your phrases, reflect your state of being, and unconsciously tune themselves to your coherence. Therefore, speak only of what you wish to create. If you name a problem, speak of it only in the light of its solution. The architect's tools are deceptively simple: focused intention, spoken declaration, embodied emotion. Wielded with awareness, they reshape worlds. Identify one core element of your new reality: sovereign creativity, divine freedom, radiant health. Begin with intention, define it with crystal clarity, then declare it daily. I am a sovereign creator, and my work is a vessel for abundance. Most importantly, embody the emotion. Hold it in your body until it vibrates through your cells. Intention, declaration, and embodiment together, they turn blueprints into buildings. Your next test will center on this very power. You will encounter a situation that echoes an old disempowering story. The pull to react as you once did will be almost physical. In that moment, your task is to breathe, to hold the sensation without surrendering to it, and to choose a new response, a new declaration. This is the sacred pause, a micro-dimension of sovereign time you create for yourself. In this pause, you are untouchable. The machine's programming cannot reach you. Here you are no longer a reactor, you are the director. You consult the blueprint, and you choose your reality rather than having it chosen for you. Each time you practice this pause, the old puppet strings of reactivity are cut. Each time your authorship deepens. You step further into the role of conscious creator, the architect who shapes destiny rather than inheriting it. It is the shift from pawn to player. Chapter 7, The Inevitable Ascension. The final phase is not a battle. It is not strain. It is the natural unfolding, the inevitable result of everything that has come before. It is the conclusion of a divine equation. The demolition is complete. The site is cleared. The foundation is laid. And the architect fully empowered sites at the drafting table of reality. This is Ascension. Ascension is not about leaving the world in a burst of light. It is about embodying your divine nature within it, bringing heaven into earth through your own skin. It is the moment the structure drawn from the untraceable blueprint becomes your lived breath-to-breath reality. The defining quality of this state is effortlessness. The grinding and striving of the old world dissolve. In their place comes flow, inspired action, a steady rhythm of grace. You no longer force outcomes. You feel a gentle pull toward the next right step, and you follow it with ease. In this ascended state, desire and manifestation dance together in synchronicity. The right people, opportunities, and resources arrive unbidden. Needs are met before you even articulate them. This is not fantasy. It is the physics of ascended consciousness. Your blueprint becomes so perfectly fused with universal intelligence that your will and divine will move as one. The universe is no longer an external force to navigate, it is experienced as your own expanded body. The texture of this new reality is profound peace. Time itself loosens. Chronos, the tick-tock prison of linear measurement, dissolves into Kairos, the divine rhythm, where every event unfolds in its perfect moment, like the tides of an eternal ocean. From this alignment flows an unshakable joy, untouched by circumstance. It becomes your baseline state, and in that joy you are untouchable. The machine can no longer see you. Its agents cannot reach you. Its dramas pass through you without effect. You have risen to a frequency so high you are invisible to the senses of the old world. In practical terms, Ascension begins to reveal itself in the smallest details. The bureaucracies that once drained you now bend around you with ease. That dreaded call to a utility company connects instantly to the one helpful agent. Doors open without resistance. It is not coincidence you are no longer an energetic match for their friction. This is ultimate sovereignty. It is not about building walls of defense, but vibrating so high that the threat itself cannot find you. And yet, there will come one final attempt. The system, in desperation, will try to bargain. It will not send an enemy, but an emissary, charismatic, intelligent, magnetic. They will appear as an ally, even an admirer. They will say, "We've been watching you. Your vision is revolutionary. The world needs you. Let us give you the platform you deserve, 1,000,000 times more reach than you have now. We'll create a foundation in your name, publish your book, produce your show. We'll handle the details you just create. Imagine the good you could do with our resources." They will flatter you, convincing you that you are the bridge between the old and the new. They will frame surrender as strategy, compromise as progress. It will be presented not as a chain, but as an opportunity to multiply your impact. This is the most sophisticated form of spiritual gaslighting, the attempt to make you believe that surrendering sovereignty is the highest expression of it. They will promise to amplify your light, not understanding that your light cannot be harnessed or contained. For the system believes it can co-opt what is infinite, reduce it into a position, a title, a board seat. It will offer you its kingdom if only you give up your blueprint. Your final initiation is this: to look upon the highest peak of their world, the crown they offer, the throne they parade before you, and to turn it down without hesitation. The refusal will not feel like loss or sacrifice. It will be a calm, joyful no, born of complete self-knowledge. For in that moment, you are not only rejecting an offer, you are voting for a new reality. You are withdrawing your immense creative energy from their crumbling structure and redirecting it fully into the construction of the new. This choice sends a shockwave through the energetic grid, splitting the foundation of the old even as it lays the cornerstone of the new. And what follows is liberation. A silence unlike any before. The sense of a cosmic door closing forever, and another vast and radiant swinging open just for you. The universe responds to this definitive act by accelerating your blueprint. Resources align. Allies appear seemingly from nowhere, their paths cleared by your sovereign decree. The silence you feel is not emptiness. It is the sound of a new reality coming online. A world being born from your unwavering yes to your soul. And the first step in this world is not frantic action. It is being standing sovereign in the space you have claimed, allowing the blueprint's first true creations to rise effortlessly from your existence. You will notice your very presence shifts environments. Your calm becomes medicine. Your clarity brings order to chaos. Your energy recalibrates rooms without a word. This is ascension, not an ending, but the beginning of your true work.